Mr. Ian Wright, this was his reaction. You'd expect nothing else, I don't think, would you?
I was so happy with the goal, you know. When the ball came out on the edge of the box, I was thinking before it happened, I was thinking, please, just give me one chance, you know. And the ball dropped in the right area, and I just put my foot through it, you know, and happy went in the back of the net.
More than happy, I should think.
I'm buzzing, really, actually, I'm buzzing, yeah, very happy.
Incredible first 10 seconds of the game, a sensational last 10 seconds of the game, and 98 or something brilliant minutes in between.
Madness from the first second of the game when we conceded the goal in a routine that we knew that they could do, but still, we kept trying, we dominated the game, we generated so many situations, we didn't score, and after that, in the second half, we conceded a set play, and then it looks like, yeah, there is a mountain to climb. But the team still found a way to win it, and I loved the initiative, the courage, the personality, and the willingness to make things happen when it's ugly and when it's difficult, and that's what big teams do.
To kick off, and for 4 or 5 players to basically just sprint at Arsenal's back line, you know, it's an unusual kick-off.
Yeah, it was something that we came up with that I thought might work. Yeah, it did. There was a lot of stuff that the boys put in today. I think you come to Arsenal, they dispatch of basically everyone here fairly easily, and they didn't of us. We performed well above what we should be today, but obviously, like I said, devastated that we suffer a late goal because the boys worked their socks off and deserve to take something.
Wow, what about that? Incredible reactions to that victory, as you'd expect in the ground. Incredible reactions from one Ian Wright as well. I think you've gone viral. You've gone viral here. It's not often you get a game where you get a goal in the first 10 seconds and the last 10 seconds, but it was incredible. Let's start with Bournemouth and their opener.
Yeah, well, it didn't just surprise Arsenal, it surprised us in the production office, didn't it, Right? It made for an interesting afternoon, let's say. There was good initiative from Bournemouth. This is the old distraction technique. I've seen this before. Shouldn't be falling for this at this level. But anyway, it goes down the right-hand side. They don't stop the cross, which is the first mistake. And then Gabriel, poor clearance on his weak foot. And they're a goal down. Philip Billen, decent finish. Gave Bournemouth a bit of confidence. Watching it again, you can see the numbers on the left-hand side, making good positive runs to get into the box. But it is poor from Arsenal. Just not awake, not ready, not alert. And then to go 2 down off a set play, you start thinking this is turning into a really bad day. Good header from Senesi, and then the incredible happened, right, didn't it?
Yeah, that was a sad time for me. That was a sad time.
Not so incredible to some of us.
No. You did say have faith. You did. You did say, and you know.
But it left them with a mountain to climb, and boy, did they climb it in.
They did, and you know, to be fair, they did very well. But here you could see the amount of space they're leaving for Emile Smith-Rowe. And then once he gets that head in there, you know, Partey, Semenya's not tight on him. And then that was it. That was the start of it. They did have other chances, Bournemouth. They did have other chances, I should say. And then, you know, they didn't quite take advantage of it. You could see them all in there. It was very, very difficult to break that down. So it needed a little bit more intricacy in the way people were playing. You needed to pass balls through lines. Again, you can see Anthony there. He's kind of taken his eye off the ball. And they got tired. They did get tired because they defended so well. Ben White, that is a brilliant finish from there. From there, on the volley, and he's done it. And now Arsenal are going for it. I think they're not going to get anything out of this game. Saka's touch and play was brilliant there. But again, Bournemouth, with all the numbers in there, they defended very well. I don't blame Gary O'Neill for saying they deserve something. Again, Erdegaard come at the back post, can't quite fall down for him. I'm thinking, you know something, it's not going to happen. But this is, again, what they needed to do. You've got so many bodies in. Somebody has to make something happen. Look at his play. Brilliant skill. Flicks it inside. Poor from Ben White. And that's when, you know, obviously you can imagine what I was saying in the office. So then when he cuts back in here, I'm thinking, OK, it's 2-2. Play him in, Saka. This is it. Martin Odegaard's pointing there, put him into it. He didn't put it in, and I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, it's over. And then I started to think, oh, I'm going to go and get ready because this is the game's over. We don't get anything from the corner because they're too big. This is it. I'm going to go. And then this happened. On his weaker foot, my gosh, what an unbelievable strike from Reece. I'm so happy for him with everything that's happened to him at Arsenal. You know, we've got a goal, like the first goal created by an ALN product, and second goal from an ALN pro, and the last goal scored by an ALN pro.
I get the feeling, a slight sense that you enjoyed it.
You know something? it was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so pleased for them because they never gave up. They never stopped, and that's what Mikel
defining
wants.
moment, possibly?
I hope so. I really do hope so because, like, Reece Nelson to come on and score that with his weaker foot, hitting one of the best left foot shots I've seen at the Emirates for a long time. I hope so.
Can I just say as well, Arteta deserves great credit here. Yeah. He made 2 substitutions today. They were ruthless. Tomiyasu off half-time, not playing particularly well. Ben White come on, he scored a goal. Yeah. He brings Emile Smith-Rowe off, who'd already come on as sub-to-sub, to bring Reece Nelson on, not thinking really about the player and affecting. He's thinking this is what we need for the team.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I thought that was a brilliant bit of management and a tough decision for him, I have to say. Well played, Arteta.
Look at the scenes at the end.
You see,
it's almost like they've won the league, but they're perfectly entitled to enjoy that.
This is what people are saying. It's, Arsenal acting like they've won the league. We're talking about a young team who they're finding a way to get this done. Yeah. You've got the celebration police, and they're going to be there. But there's not many people that will be able to be at this table, the top end of the league, trying to win it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it, Arsenal fans.
There were a few gripes at the end from a lot of people on social media saying that it was scored a minute after the supposed 6 minutes of injury time, but there was a Bournemouth player injured at 90 minutes and he was down for some time, so they were always going to play longer. I think it's worth explaining.
Yeah, but we could say the other day with the VAR decision, what are you talking foolishness for?
We're not. In today's early...
The only thing we ever asked a question about Arsenal was they will have blips, will they respond? Every blip they've had, they've responded back from.
What a moment from Reece Nelson, homegrown boy, 3rd Premier League appearance of the season, and getting 3 points for Mikel Arteta. Here he is after that 3-2 win over Bournemouth. And from 2-0 down in the Premier League to win a game, Mikel Arteta was playing February 2012, long time ago. But look at that, the top 6 there, Karen. It's going to be cat and mouse, isn't it, all the way till May?
Yeah, it is. I still had Manchester City to win it, but then again, I've seen today and seen those resilient moments from Arsenal, and I think, I don't know. So it's great for us because it could go anywhere. And
those memories that they can bottle from today will go in Arsenal's favour, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the best feelings you'll ever have as a player, that Reece Nelson did at the end of the game. And then, he hasn't really played much this season, so it gives the group confidence in him, the atmosphere at the Emirates, Mikel Arteta. I think this Arsenal team, Karen's right. You only really know a team when you're under pressure. They were under huge pressure today. They're in the driver's seat. Can they finish the job? That's the only question. Last season, they couldn't get into the Champions League places. They stumbled at the end. This season, they feel different. Juninho in there, Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus. They feel like they're ready for it.
5-point lead, and of course the 26th of April, Manchester. Moment for those Arsenal fans. And look, it wasn't long ago they had that brilliant comeback against Aston Villa. This is what we say. I know it's cliche, but the sign of champions, finding ways to win games.
It is, and the word that I took from Arteta's interview, there was a feeling. And I think, this was a brilliant finish from Nelson. He's only had 3 appearances, I think, 64 minutes of Premier League football this season, and just to have the composure, the calmness, pretty much the last kick of the game and match winning. But I mentioned the word what Arteta said was feeling. There's a feeling within the stadium, there's a feeling within the players and the managers that even 2-0 down, they could come back. And you're right, for me, that is a big sign of champions, and that's where I'm going, ooh, they've showed some resilience over the last month, 2 months, and they've come through them all comfortably. Well, not comfortably, but they've come through them.
Yeah, look, these smiles that you're seeing there at the end, and the hugs for Reece Nelson, who's been at Arsenal so long, hasn't he, Owen? And he's only played 85 minutes all season, 3 appearances. That's probably the most important goal he scored in his life.
Well, to be fair, when Mikel Arteta was putting Reece Nelson on, Arsenal probably were thinking, what are you doing? But Karen makes a great point. He had a feel, for whatever reason, Reece Nelson could come on and affect the game. And in 21 minutes, to score 1 and to assist 1, that goal, that cameo from Reece Nelson, who's always been a talent, by the way, that will change his career, change the trajectory of his career, because everybody said, oh, he's not good enough, he's gone on loan to different places. Hoffenheim, now he gets the opportunity to come into a game when the title's on the line and produce the goods at a big stage. We've seen Nketiah do it, now Reece Nelson. Huge moment for the young man and for Arsenal.
And look, you had it at Manchester United. United had a knack, didn't they, of just finding a way to get results, and that can become contagious in a good way.
Yeah, and Sir Alex, I think that was his greatest attribute, in my opinion, that he just had a feel for what the game needed, who should play, who should go on. And Mikel, for whatever reason, he had a feel for Reece Nelson, that he should come into the game and he could affect it. And I think that gives a young player confidence. he obviously felt that and performed it as...
The three subs, though, I mean, sorry to interrupt, all made an impact, whether it Ben White, Nelson and Smith Rowe for the header as well, all had major major parts in the goals, didn't they, that changed the game?
Yeah, and I think they all believe in Mikel, don't they? Even if you're not starting, you're on the bench. It's very much before in our era when we played. If you were in the starting 11, you're happy. If you're on the bench, you're miserable. Now it feels like people, it's almost like 16, 18 players, and we saw at the World Cup, and now we're seeing from the bench in the Premier League, players are helping decide games. And teams look stronger for it, I think.
Yeah, and look, there's no doubt that the Manchester City players would have been watching that somewhere in their warm down at the Etihad. And, that will have a psychological impact on them as well, won't it?
Well, I think that's what's even more impressive for Arsenal, because they played after City and knew that at 2-0 down, you saw that the game was already won an hour or so before, and you're thinking, wow. So as a player, that would sit in the back of your head going, oh, God, we're 2-0 down, but they found a way. But, yeah, I'm sure everyone will say in Manchester and at Arsenal, they're all staying in their lane, they're focusing on what each other, they're focusing on their own jobs, but they're looking at what each other are doing and seeing who could drop points as and when.
What kind of change does that have in Owen Hargreaves' head in terms of the title race, that Arsenal are capable of doing this and they've got that in their locker?
Well, last season they showed they weren't ready for it, not even to get into the Champions League play. They had such a great season, they just fell off right in the crucial moment. And I think Mikel Arteta realised, all right, I need a couple of guys that have been there and done it before. Gabriel Jesus, in a limited role at City, Zinchenko, and then all of a sudden Jorginho. He's won trophies with Chelsea, he's won them with Italy. And I think those guys in those moments, so Zinchenko before the game, leading the circle as a leader. These guys have been there and done it in big moments, winning trophies. And I think now all of a sudden all the young guys start to believe that we can do this.
Yeah.
Ødegaard as well, in 16 at Real Madrid, being able to deal with big players, big, he's a massive leader as well that's come into his own since going to Arteta, really. Yeah. So I think he was massive as well.
Those personalities are great.
If they win the league.
Yeah.
That celebration's still going on, I think.
Probably, no doubt.
Yeah. But you can understand it. And that's what every Arsenal fan will be thinking. They've come so far in such a short space of time. As we mentioned with Mikel Arteta, this was someone who'd come in for so much criticism. You can't put a foot wrong.
Well, the thing is, you're happy for Arsenal fans in a way, because they've suffered so much in the last decade, really. So obviously they deserve a bit of positivity. It was so toxic for a while under Arsene Wenger. Now it's all this feel-good factor. They've got these brilliant young players, from Saka, one of the best in the league, and they're riding this wave of positivity. And who knows, maybe they'll finish off surprisingly winning the Premier League. So far, you have to say they deserve it.
Mesut Ozil was right all along, wasn't he? Trust the process, as he said sarcastically. Right, let's look at the day's early kickoff now, as Manchester City hosted Newcastle at the Etihad Stadium. Andy Townsend and Jim Proudfoot. Watch this one.